All right, hello everyone. So today I'll be reading from The Quiet Labor, a workbook for spiritual progress. This is chapter 2, Meditation Introduction. A meditator is both an artist and a warrior. Thich Nhat Hanh. One of the basic concepts of Zen Chan is that there is only ever this moment. We exist and operate within the bounds of time, so we only experience our life in this single moment, but we spend a great deal of this moment considering the past and the future. In Zen, the past and future are not real. There is only now. The past is a dream. The future is just a potential that may or may not arrive. Zen considers contemplation on the past or future as missing or what is happening in the now, the important moment of our attention. So Zen teaches people to live in the now. Our lives are like an old record, an LP, long player, all the times of our life laid out in the vinyl of the disc. We are like the needle touching and experiencing the music at the point only, the now point. Meditation is one of the tools Zen uses for making the mind aware of the now, stopping the mind from flitting around and missing the moment. It does this by focusing the mind on a single subject to the exclusion of all else. This is the beginning of meditation. There are many kinds of meditation taught across the world. Here we will work on two main types: dharana, contemplation, and dhyana, focused meditation, after which we discuss guided meditation. Primarily, though, our focus will be on dhyana, but first, dharana. Dharana is a Sanskrit word that translates as contemplation. Contemplation is a process of reflection and consideration of subjects or questions. Dharana works by letting the moving mind connect with our higher self as we consider a subject, and through that consideration, allowing insight to come and understanding to grow. As an example, my teacher once asked me to consider my right hand each morning when I got out of bed. I would sit on the side of the bed and look at my hand. I would consider what a miracle it was, what a piece of bioengineering it was, how hard life would be without it. I appreciated it. But then I began to feel detached from it at the same time. The practice was partly to produce a sense of gratitude, but it also developed a higher state of understanding in me as I did it. The hand was me. It was wonderful. Yet, I started to understand that it wasn't me either. I could live without it and still exist. It was a bunch of molecules, energy molded into a form. It was the same as everything else. I could have been looking at a bunch of flowers on my hand. I understood that although the hand was part of my body wasn't really me. The subject for many contemplations are the spiritual texts. One reads a particular paragraph in the Bible, Gita, or Quran, and lets the mind feel the words. Sit in it and let a deeper understanding of those words arise. Another form of contemplation is to look at a picture of a deity or a mandala. Possibly you have been given a koan to consider by your teacher. A koan is a Zen practice where a set of words are given by a teacher to a student. The teacher asks the student to consider the koan and return with an answer to it. Koans are statements that make no sense, like the classic, "What is the sound of one hand clapping?" Or, "Why is a mouse when it's spinning?" Or, "What was your face before your parents met?" The process of dharana begins with relaxing yourself. It's best to take an asana posture and then breathing in and out through the nose for a few minutes. Let the respiration slow and become deeper. Then ask the divine, your higher self, for help during your contemplation. Whilst sitting in this state, we simply consider the subject, whatever it is. The subject may be a question given by your teacher or a problem you are not sure how to deal with. In this case, close your eyes and run the question around in your mind. Ask for help to understand more, then sit, breathe, and wait for answers to come. If your subject for dharana is a picture of a mandala or a deity looking at something like a tree, or trying to better understand your connection to both it and nature, then open your eyes and look. Hold your gaze steady, breathe deeply, and let your mind feel for answers as you look. Be aware of the thoughts and ideas that come in. Consider and thank them. Let them lead you to a solution. When practicing dharana, a nice idea is to have a notebook and pen handy, so when you come out of the practice, you can write down any inspirations you received. So in contemplation, we let the mind roam around a topic. In meditation, dhyana, we still the mind. Dhyana is the focusing of the mind on a single point to stop it moving, through which we achieve meditation. Simple, huh? To begin with, you will learn to focus on a subject, but without thinking, unlike dharana, and then as your focus grows, your mind quietens, and you enter ever deeper states of meditation. Whatever else that you read about meditation in the following chapter, remember this next bit. It is the key. Meditation is simply the process of stilling the mind and keeping it still by holding its focus on a single subject. This is the crux, the important part. You can have the most beautiful asana posture, and you may be able to sit in it for 3/4 of an hour. But if your mind is still thinking, if it is jumping from one thought to another like a hyperactive monkey, swinging from branch to branch, then you are not meditating. The purpose of meditation is to rein back the activity of an out-of-control mind. Most of our minds are not under control. If you are angry, jealous, self-pitying, blaming, anxious, acting habitually, etc., you are no longer centered. The mind is not under your control. Try this little exercise. Turn on the television and sit within 5 or 6 feet of the TV with the screen just in view out of the corner of one eye and the sound on. Sit still for a couple minutes. Try to think of only your name. Keep repeating it in your head, but don't look at the screen. Try, by strength of will alone, not to pay attention to what is happening on the screen for 1 minute. See how hard controlling the mind is? When I first began learning meditation, it was summertime. My teacher lived by a busy main road. I would turn up and he would greet me warmly and take me into a room. Once inside, he would open the windows. He told me to hold my focus on the tip of my nose, watching the air going in and out around my nostrils. I sat down to practice, but every time I tried, I lost focus in moments because I kept getting distracted by the noise of the cars zooming outside. For 4 weeks, I struggled for an hour at a time to meditate. Then on the 5th week, when I sat down and started to practice, I didn't notice the cars. My focus had become so strong that I was able to set my mind firmly at the nostrils with such intensity I did not even hear the cars. That was the last day my teacher ever opened the windows. Your mind is used to flickering about at its own whim. It has never been used to any control. Real focus is rarely enforced upon it. Meditation is the process that enables us to regain control of the mind by retraining the mind to focus on a subject of our choice. This is managed by returning the mind to that focus each time the mind becomes distracted. This process of placing the focus on one subject effectively stills the activity of the mind, and then several things begin to happen. I would describe meditation as having 3 characteristics, each characteristic appearing as one's meditation reaches a new, deeper level. The first characteristic is focus or concentration, which we have mentioned above. This is the starting point, after which, as meditation deepens, the second characteristic, release, appears. This is the process of letting go and is many leveled. Firstly, you let go of distractions by ignoring them. Then you let go of stress and discomfort by not dwelling on them. Eventually, you let go of the body and the mind and move beyond both. The last characteristic is insight or understanding. This comes with deeper meditation and increased focus, but is also a product of release. Insight, it is said, comes from the fact that as you are one with everything, and you move back closer to regaining this oneness, you become open to all the universe's knowledge. The three characteristics you will come to realize are integral parts of each other, yet separate, rather like a Venn diagram. They overlap. What are the benefits of meditation? Meditation operates on many levels. At the basic level, by focusing on a single point to the exclusion of everything else, one can gain clarity, regain our center. A simple example of this could be how, after a busy day at work, we can become stressed, which stops us from thinking clearly. In this situation, our out-of-control emotions can cause us to be short with those we love and act irrationally. Everything seems to be a problem, and so the anxiety and problems escalate, snowballing, creating a self-perpetuating misery. Things that we would normally ignore or find comical become difficult and annoying. Essentially, we have been driven from our center, pushed out of the calm, in the middle of the hurricane of life. Meditation helps our minds to clear and returns us to the center. Our mind changes state. It varies between different levels of consciousness or vibration. The beauty of meditation is that it is a tool which allows us to raise our consciousness. As human beings, we need to be clear-minded, to act rationally without being inhibited by mental states such as fear, impatience, or anger. We need a balance to be happy, or we run the risk of becoming polarized to extremes of overexcitement or depression. The practice of meditation blends into your life, enhancing it, providing that balance, the middle ground between the physical and spiritual, hard and soft, yin and yang. By far, the main benefit of meditation, though, is that it is the primary tool for us to experience our spiritual self and learn that we are not really this person and body that we think we are. We are, in fact, according to all the Eastern philosophies and religions, one with everything. That's a big statement, and one many people struggle to appreciate. Most disagree with the statement because, based on their experience, they are an individual, separate entity. They have no connection with anyone else. They have a body and can act, but effectively are alone. There are other living beings around them, but they are separate. The idea of being anything other than Peter or Sue or whatever their name is seems ridiculous. I was like that too. When I started training in meditation, my teacher, Deus, gave me a dharana contemplation to help me see through this paradox. He asked me to consider where I started and where I finished. I looked dumbly at him when he first gave it to me, so he explained a little to help me begin. Start with your body. Then when you breathe in, at what point does the oxygen that is drawn into the blood and passed on into the cells stop not being you? When you sweat, when is the water leaving your body no longer you? And so on. After several hours of contemplation, I began to realize that my body, my mind, even the situation I was in wasn't me. My existence was not singular, and there was no separation, other than through my senses, between me and everything else. We spend all our time looking out through the senses, but when you close them down, as we do in meditation, and turn inwards into silence, then it's possible to find your true self, a self beyond the body and mind. What types of focused meditation are there, and are they safe? The meditations we will explore here are Tibetan color meditation, Vipassana breathing methods, and Tratakam, focusing on a candle flame. All these methods are safe. Some meditations are not safe, and we strongly recommend beginners stick to the meditations described here unless under instruction from a qualified teacher. Basic advice: don't take it too seriously, as it is supposed to be enjoyable. If you burst out laughing at how ludicrous you feel the first time you try it, that's fine. Laughing is good for you. Before you can meditate, you need to know what to do with your body to make the practice comfortable and give the best energy distribution. This is where the asanas and mudras come into play. Thank you.